When Demet Özdemir hit post that afternoon, she had no idea her words would set the internet on fire. Within minutes, fans around the world were sharing, commenting, and arguing over every line she wrote. It wasn't just another glamorous selfie or a behind-the-scenes snapshot. This time, it was something else, sharp, emotional, and clearly aimed at someone. And that someone, everyone believed, was Sara Bluma. For months, rumors had been circulating that Sara and Yaman were getting closer. The Italian actress had been seen with him during shoots, private events, and late dinners in Rome. Paparazzi had captured smiles, long looks, and quiet walks, the kind that fans of Can and Demet once dreamed of seeing between the two Turkish stars themselves. Demet had stayed silent, never addressing the whispers. Until now. Her post came out of nowhere, a series of cryptic lines, written in Turkish but quickly translated by fans. Some people build castles out of lies. And then they live inside them as if it's home. The internet exploded. Was she talking about Sara? About Can? Or both? Within hours, Sara Bluma's name was trending alongside Demet's. Fan camps formed immediately. Demet's loyal supporters defended her as a woman finally speaking her truth, while others accused her of reigniting a love triangle that the world couldn't stop watching. Italian tabloids picked it up first, calling it Demet's digital declaration. Turkish media followed, linking it straight to Yaman, who at that very moment was in Spain for a new project. Sources close to Can said he saw the post right away. One insider even claimed that he reread it at least 10 times in silence. The same source said his face changed, not angry, not sad, just stunned. Because he knew. He knew exactly what Demet was talking about. The history between Demet and Can had never truly ended, it had only gone quiet. Every few months, something would remind fans that their connection ran deeper than they admitted, a song choice, a shared quote, or even the way their eyes met at distant events. And now, with Sara Bluma unexpectedly in the middle, everything felt like it was unraveling again. Demet didn't delete the post. She didn't clarify anything either. And that silence made the message even louder. The world began to ask, what happened between these three? Why now? And what did Yaman really feel when he saw it? In the days that followed, the storm didn't die down, it grew stronger. Every entertainment site, every fan page, every gossip account had a theory. Some swore Demet's post was a direct response to Sara's recent interview in Milan, where she had casually mentioned how working with Can is inspiring, he brings energy into every room. Others thought it was about something much deeper, something personal, something only the three of them could understand. Sara Bluma, who had always maintained a calm and elegant public image, suddenly found herself at the center of a digital earthquake. Her team initially stayed silent, but her followers began tagging her under Demet's post, demanding a response. For a full day, she didn't say a word. But when she finally did, she chose her weapon carefully, a photo of her and Can on set, laughing, with the caption, "Work is joy when you share it with good people." It was subtle. Too subtle. Yet to millions of eyes already searching for meaning, it looked like a declaration. A calm, polished message, but one that carried a sting. Turkish fans flooded the comments, saying Sara was throwing shade in Italian. Others begged her to stop adding fuel to the fire. But Sara didn't reply. She didn't need to. The image said it all. Meanwhile, Yaman tried to stay away from the noise. He avoided interviews, ignored questions, and focused on his project in Spain. But insiders close to him noticed something was off. He was quieter than usual, one crew member revealed. He wasn't joking around. He'd scroll through his phone, stare for a few seconds, and put it away. Another source said he had asked his assistant not to bring up Demet's name, but his silence, ironically, made everything louder. Behind the cameras, though, people whispered that Can had reached out to Demet privately. That a late-night message, short, honest, maybe even desperate, had been sent. But no one knew if she answered. In Istanbul, Demet was spotted leaving a cafe with her closest friend, visibly emotional. Fans described her as tired but proud. She seemed like someone who had said what needed to be said, regardless of the cost. That post had broken something, or maybe it had simply revealed what was already broken. Entertainment journalists called it the most explosive triangle of the year. The connection between these three, Turkish fire, Italian mystery, and silent heartbreak, was too captivating to ignore. As one headline put it, Demet wrote with her heart. Sara replied with her smile. And Can said nothing. The silence of Yaman, the man known for his intensity, his charisma, his honesty, was deafening. Fans around the world waited for his reaction, but nothing came. At least, not yet. 3 days after Demet's viral post, something unexpected happened. Yaman, who had kept total silence, suddenly appeared online. Not through a statement, not through an interview, but through a simple Instagram story. It was a black and white photo, blurry, clearly taken in a quiet place. The caption read, "Some truths don't need to be explained." It was enough. Within minutes, the image spread across social media. Fans dissected every pixel, the tone, the timing, the words. Was he referring to Demet's post? Was it his way of saying he understood her? Or was it a message to both women, asking for peace? Sara Bluma, still in Italy, remained silent. But sources close to her said she felt betrayed. One of her friends reportedly told a magazine, Sara didn't expect Can to react like that. She thought he'd stay neutral. The same source added that Sara believed Demet's post was unfair, a play for attention, she allegedly said. But even so, Sara didn't fight back publicly. She knew that once fans took sides, no one could stop them. Meanwhile, Demet's post continued to gain traction. Her followers grew by hundreds of thousands in just a few days. Her fans flooded her older photos, leaving comments like "You deserve peace," and "We know who you meant." Turkish talk shows debated the situation every night. Some defended Demet as a woman expressing her emotions, others accused her of reigniting old drama. But none could deny one thing, she had everyone talking again. Back in Spain, Can's team tried to control the situation. They released a brief statement, calling all online rumors speculation. Yet, behind the scenes, people who worked with him saw a man caught between two worlds, his past and his present. A journalist later revealed that during a break on set, Can had looked at his phone and whispered something like, "Why now, Demet?" Nobody heard the full sentence, but that single moment said everything. For years, fans had romanticized their story, two rising stars, their chemistry burning on screen and off. But reality had been far more complicated. Fame had changed everything. The distance, the pressure, the rumors. And now, after years of separate lives, a single post had brought it all crashing back into the spotlight. That night, Demet shared a new post, not a quote, not a photo, but a short video of rain falling on her window. No caption. No song. Just silence. And that silence echoed around the world. Because everyone understood what she meant, some things can't be said, only felt. The following week felt like an emotional battlefield. Every headline screamed their names, Demet, Can, Sara, as if the three of them were trapped in a story that refused to end. Yet behind the flashing lights, behind the social media chaos, there was a man who was quietly breaking. Yaman had always been known for his strength, the confident smile, the composed interviews, the perfect image of control. But this time, he wasn't acting. Those close to him began to notice the cracks. His assistant described him as distant, while his co-star admitted that he would sometimes stare out the window during breaks, completely lost in thought. One evening, while filming in Madrid, he was seen sitting alone on the steps outside the studio. No cameras, no entourage, just Can, scrolling through old photos on his phone. Among them were memories from years ago, Istanbul sunsets, laughter during shoots, moments that fans had never seen but still imagined. Photos of Demet. Someone from the crew later said, he looked like he wanted to call her but couldn't. He just sat there, breathing heavily, like he was fighting with himself. The truth was, Can had read Demet's words again and again. He knew the weight behind them, not bitterness, but pain. Pain she had carried in silence for years. And deep inside, he also knew that Sara had nothing to do with that old wound. She had simply entered a story that had never been properly closed. Sara, meanwhile, was facing her own storm. Italian magazines followed her every move. Paparazzi photos of her leaving her apartment with red eyes began circulating online. Her close friend told reporters that she felt unfairly dragged into a love story that wasn't hers to begin with. She admired Demet, the friend said. She never meant to hurt anyone. But the internet had already chosen sides. For millions, Demet represented the heartbreak that never healed, the woman who had lost something irreplaceable. And Sara, whether she deserved it or not, became the symbol of what came after. When a reporter asked Ken if he wanted to comment on the situation, he simply shook his head and whispered, "Not everything needs to be said publicly." It was the only sentence he spoke for weeks. Yet, those who truly knew him saw the signs. The long silences. The late-night drives. The quiet frustration of someone who wanted to make peace but didn't know how. And then, out of nowhere, Demet posted again. This time, not a quote, but a photo. A candid picture from the past. Her standing near the Bosphorus, wind in her hair, the kind of moment that once belonged to simpler times. The caption was short, only 2 words, "Not forgotten." Within an hour, the world went mad again. Fans flooded the comments. Is she talking about Ken? Does she miss him? Or is she saying she's finally ready to let go? Nobody knew. But one person, somewhere in Spain, alone in his hotel room, looked at that post for a long time. And for the first time in years, Yaman whispered her name out loud. That night, after staring at Demet's post for what felt like hours, Ken finally did something he had promised himself never to do again. He opened their old chat. The last message between them was years old. It was short, simple, but heavy: "Take care of yourself." Neither of them had written anything after that. A silence that had lasted longer than any words ever could. He began typing. Then stopped. Deleted it. Typed again. Deleted it once more. Every word felt wrong, too heavy, too late, too fragile. In the end, he just wrote, "I saw your post." His fingers hovered over the send button. His heart was pounding. But before he could press it, he put the phone down. He couldn't do it. Not yet. Instead, he went for a drive. Madrid's streets were quiet, the city half asleep, its lights reflecting off his windshield like ghosts of memories. In his mind, he could still hear her laugh, still see her eyes the night they filmed their final scene together. That was the night everything changed, the night when fiction became too real, and reality became too painful. Meanwhile, in Istanbul, Demet sat on her balcony, her phone in her hand. She hadn't expected the reaction her post would cause. She hadn't even planned it, it just happened, a spontaneous burst of emotion she could no longer contain. But as she scrolled through the thousands of comments, she felt something unexpected: peace. For the first time, she wasn't hiding her pain. She had faced it, and the world had listened. But deep down, there was still one question that haunted her: would he understand? Sara Bluma, on the other hand, was growing more restless. Her image had been dragged through headlines and gossip columns, painted as the unintentional villain in someone else's love story. "I didn't do anything wrong," she told a close friend. "But I feel like I'm paying for something I never caused." She had even tried calling Ken once, just to talk, to clear the air, but he didn't answer. He sent a polite message instead: "It's complicated right now. Give me time." That was the first moment Sara realized something had changed. The distance wasn't about work. It wasn't about rumors. It was about someone else. Back in Spain, Ken finally returned to his hotel. He poured himself a glass of water, sat on the edge of the bed, and stared at his phone one last time. The message "I saw your post" was still there, unsent. He hesitated again. Then, instead of sending it, He closed the app and whispered, "If she wants to talk, she will." But what he didn't know was that, miles away, Demet had already opened that same chat. Her fingers trembled. The last message still read, "Take care of yourself." She typed something, paused, and then deleted it. Two people, in two different countries, both staring at the same silence, both waiting for the other to make the first move. It all started with one photo. A fan in Madrid, scrolling through her feed, suddenly froze. She had taken a selfie on a quiet street near Retiro Park, and behind her, blurred but unmistakable, was a man with dark hair, black sunglasses, and that familiar intensity. She zoomed in. It was him. It was Yaman. Within minutes, the photo spread across Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. Yaman spotted in Madrid's Retiro Park, the captions read. But that wasn't the shocking part. What came next turned the internet upside down. A second photo surfaced, this time from a small airport in Spain. And in it, was Demet Özdemir. The world stopped breathing for a second. Two photos. Two different places. But both from the same city. Within an hour, hashtags exploded, hashtag Can and Demet in Madrid, hashtag reunion, hashtag not forgotten. Fans flooded the comments with heart emojis, crying faces, and disbelief. The same Turkish and Italian outlets that had fueled their supposed distance now screamed one headline, "Are they finally meeting again?" Sara Bluma's name quickly began trending too. Journalists reached out to her agency, but they refused to comment. Behind closed doors, Sara was said to be devastated. She didn't expect this, one insider claimed. She thought Can had moved past it. She thought what they had was real. But Sara also knew, deep down, that Can's heart had always belonged somewhere else. In Madrid, Demet tried to stay unnoticed. She was in the city for a brief collaboration, a photo shoot planned weeks before. Yet destiny seemed to have chosen that exact moment to cross their paths again. On her second day there, she received a message from a number she hadn't seen light up her phone in years. It was short, simple, but enough to make her hands tremble. "If you're free tonight, there's something I need to tell you." No name. No details. But she knew. Her heart knew. That evening, just as the sun began to set, a car pulled up quietly outside a small restaurant on the outskirts of the city. Demet stepped out, dressed simply, no makeup, her hair tied back. Inside, the lights were low, the music soft. And there, sitting at a corner table, was Can. For a few seconds, they just stared at each other, two people who had shared everything and lost almost everything. No cameras, no lights, no scripts. Just them. "I didn't think you'd come," Can said softly, his voice shaking slightly. "I almost didn't," Demet replied, a small smile trembling on her lips. There was silence. The kind that only exists between two people who still feel everything but can't say it out loud. "I saw your posts," he finally said. "Every word." "And?" she asked. He looked down for a moment, then met her eyes again. "You were right. Some people build castles out of lies. I just didn't realize I was living in one until it fell apart." Tears welled in her eyes, but she didn't let them fall. "You didn't have to say that," she whispered. "I did," he said. "Because I never stopped thinking about you. Even when I tried." For a moment, neither moved. Then, with a deep breath, Demet reached across the table and touched his hand, just for a second. It was enough. Enough to remind them both that time could never erase what was real. Outside, the city lights flickered, unaware that history was quietly repeating itself inside a small Spanish restaurant. They didn't make promises. They didn't talk about the past. They didn't even say goodbye properly when they left. But something unspoken had shifted. The next morning, Kim posted a single image on his story, the Madrid skyline at sunrise, with the caption, "Sometimes, what's meant to be finds its way back." Demet, hours later, posted a photo of the same sunrise from a different angle. No caption. Just a heart. Fans lost their minds. the world trended again. But for once, it wasn't about gossip, anger, or rivalry. It was about something simpler, two souls finding closure, maybe even a new beginning. Sara Bluma quietly deactivated her comments that week. She didn't post anything for days. And when she finally did, it was a single sentence that showed both grace and heartbreak: when love returns home, you let it. Weeks later, Can and Demet returned to their own worlds, her to Istanbul, him to Italy. They were still silent publicly, but that silence no longer felt like distance. It felt like peace. Because sometimes, love doesn't need noise. It just needs truth. And that truth, after years of silence, had finally been spoken. The world may never know what was truly said that night in Madrid. But one thing is certain, for Yaman and Demet Özdemir, some stories never really end, they just wait to be continued.